ACL hops, or a lot of people will call these skater hops. What we're focusing on this drill is what I have is basically a hallway set up for my athletes. There's cones on both sides. They understand they're not going outside of that. And then what I'm going to do is tell them that they're going to imagine a river of lava. I like to give them a visualization, and they have a river of lava about this wide, maybe this high. More developed they are, it's bigger, it's wider. And from that, that's going to give them the visualization of what they're trying to do. So they're going about a 45-degree angle out and up and over. And we're working on landing and decelerating and loading and being in the correct position. So this helps us not only in landing single leg, but when we're doing cuts. So I want my athletes to understand as they jump up and out, they have to bring their hips with them. So their hips come with them, they don't reach out to it. They keep their weight over the top, and then they're gonna land on the ball of their foot. They're gonna try and one-time it, not hop all over the place. They're gonna sink, so their hamstring's gonna load, their quad's gonna load, their glute's gonna load, and they're gonna be a spring. They're gonna sink down, so they have to let their hips go down. A lot of people don't wanna do that because it burns. Well, that's where our champions are. We're down there where it burns. So you're telling your athlete to sink and bend, and then stay strong in their core, be a rod from their ear through their hip, and stay over the top. So as they land, trying to one-time it, sink, and show how balanced they can be. So we'll get started here in a second with it. We're gonna do it slow first. So we fundamentally gotta be able to do this slow, and then we can increase that speed, and work fast through it. Also, what we'll be doing is we'll go forward, and then we'll go backwards. So as we go backwards, we have to understand that it's not opening our hips and going backwards, we're pushing. So we're pushing off this front leg, pushing and going backwards, allowing our hips to stay square, and are allowing ourselves to land again in that same position, not back behind us with our weight over the top, loading, catching, and decelerating. So this is highly important. I call them ACL hops because if we do them wrong, right, I'm not going to do a high velocity movement with an athlete I'm not comfortable with. But if we do them wrong and we get out of position, we put our knee in a vulnerable position, and therefore we could end up tearing our ACL, right? So it's a drill. We'd never put our athletes in that, but I want them to mentally think about how important it is to bring their box with them, to decelerate and allow their hamstring to load, and to catch that and anticipate the ground. The last thing is they're really focusing on their brain firing and sending those signals, those neurological pathways to say, I want these muscles to recruit, fire, and anticipate, so we're landing softly and trying to one-time it. So these two are going to go, they're going to give each other enough space as they go, and with this drill, they're going to start on one side. So he's going to start on his left leg, he's going to sink down, and then he's going to go ahead and land on his right. So whenever you're ready, Brandon. And he's trying to sink one time, work that balance, and then he's going to go, he's ready for the next one, and he's doing a good job of keeping his weight over the top, jumping over that lava, and then one time in it, staying balanced, staying on the ball of his foot. So then Bree goes, she sinks, see that weight go over the top, that would tell us, hey, we just got beat. So we really got to sink and let that hip unhinge a little bit too. Keeping that weight over the top, sinking and catching, good. And then go ahead and walk it out from here, Bree. So Bree will start us. What she's gonna do is go backwards now, so she's gonna pick one side. She's gonna push and go back and land square toe, and see, she had to put that other foot, that's fine. She'll just start where she's comfortable with, nice and small, work on that balance, work on that stability. There's no problem. I want my athletes to mess up. If they're not messing up, they're probably not trying as hard as they can and challenging themselves through this drill. So it will help her if she puts her head down and focuses a little bit more in front of her. That's going to push her weight over the top. She'll be able to sink and catch and load the hamstring a little bit more. Good, Bree, go ahead and walk that out. And as Brandon goes and finishes here, sink and catching, working the balance. So go ahead and walk that out. So then now what we would do, and I would do that maybe, you know, we have about 10 yards set up. You could even do 20 yards with that. Now they're going to go a little bit faster through it. So they're going to hit, they've showed their balance, they're landing correctly, they're good with that, and they're going to hit and explode and go out. So go ahead, Bree, for us. Just hit, boom, and those arms are gonna rip up as she's going too. Jumping over that lava, staying square, ball of the foot, hitting and going. Good. And then now as they go here, so we'll just have Brandon start us. He's gonna go backwards, a little bit harder now to increase that force. Back and hit, back and hit. His weight is still over the top, even though he is moving backwards. So it's a great positioning, good movement on that drill. Bree's doing well, she could get her head down, that would put her weight over again, staying on the balls of the feet. So it's a real simple drill again. You don't need a lot of equipment, you don't really need any equipment, but you work on landing mechanics, injury prevention, deceleration, and explosion, right? We got to learn to absorb force before we can create it, and that's what I love about this drill. So keep it simple, be smart, but then work and challenge yourself to be as explosive and work on one timing and land balanced and stable.